AITA for not asking my girlfriend's father for permission to marry her? So I feel like the normal situation I read about is the opposite situation, but I personally feel I am in the right here. I, 30 male, been dating my girlfriend, 29 female, for 4 years now, and things have all in all been pretty good. We both don't see eye to eye politically on many things with her father, but still visit him and her mother fairly frequently around holidays, and he is friendly enough to know to not bring up politics around the both of us because we don't agree, but I digress. I've talked about proposing to my girlfriend over the past couple months and about what she wants, etc., and she mentioned she wanted me to ask her dad for permission. I was kind of taken aback by this isn't a normal thing my girlfriend would say, so I asked why. She said because it's something she would like me to do. Her sister's husband did it, and some wedding funding from him would likely be contingent on me doing this. I came back with that I wouldn't be asking another person for permission to marry her. It's an extremely outdated tradition for one, and I'm a 30-year-old person. I can do what I want to do with someone I love. I don't need anyone else's permission. She got mad and said I just needed to do it because it's a small thing to ask for, and she wants some of the money to have a few more things at our wedding that we won't be able to afford without it. I'm continuing to stand my ground about not asking for this. AITA? I found out that my dad had a secret daughter, and somehow both my parents are mad at me. I just need to tell someone about this, or I'm going to explode. I recently found out that I have a half-sister through Ancestry.com, Erin, so my dad had another daughter that none of us knew about, and my parents are both somehow angry with me. My half-sister Erin reached out to me after our DNA matched and told me that my dad, Henry, had an affair with his ex-girlfriend, Erin's mom, Dahlia, for years while Dahlia was married to my dad's friend and business partner, Robert. My dad briefly dated Dahlia in high school before he introduced her to his friend Robert, and then Dahlia ended up marrying Robert. My dad reconnected with Dahlia in their 20s when he moved back to his hometown and started a business with her then-husband Robert. Dahlia had my half-sister while she was married to Robert and claims she had no idea Robert wasn't the father. I don't know exactly how many years their affair lasted, but Erin's description made it sound like it was throughout Dahlia's marriage, which lasted 7 years. My dad moved to another city and met my mom 4 years after Erin was born. Erin also told me that my dad stayed in contact with Dahlia throughout the 45 years since, either calling or visiting Dahlia everyone, 2 years back in his hometown. Dahlia still claims that neither of them knew he was the father, and she just always thought he was simply trying to be nice by staying in touch. I have a couple problems with this story. First, that neither of them had any idea that my dad may be the father. Even if you are using protection, you still know when you have sex with people, and should know it's at least a possibility if you have sex with 2 people around the same time. Second, the fact that my dad continued to stay in contact with Dahlia for 45 years suggests there was still something between them. He does not stay in contact with any of his other high school friends like that. The last reason I believe my dad knew about Erin being his daughter is because he tried to name me Erin. Both of my parents have told me when I was younger how they named me, that my dad wanted to name me Erin, but they changed it at the last minute because he mentioned to my mom that Erin was his ex-girlfriend's name. And when they were changing it, he suggested naming me after him, think Henrietta, which is my half-sister Erin's middle name. I asked my parents if we could talk together, but they didn't want to, so eventually I called each of them separately. When I spoke with my dad, I tried to calmly ask him for details about his other daughter's birth. As expected, he started the conversation already angry and almost immediately claimed that I made everything up and I'm lying about all these details. He doesn't deny that Erin is his daughter, but he claims that one. He never had an affair with her mom, and she must have been born right after he and Dahlia broke up in high school too. He never stayed in touch with Dahlia over the years. And 3, he never tried to name me Erin or Henrietta. He yelled at me and said that I am a liar, and he didn't need to discuss this with me until I finally hung up on him. I have clear memories of both my parents telling me this story of naming me, and my mom also initially confirmed it when I called her. But she is the ultimate enabler of my narcissist father and will eventually agree with whatever he says. When I called her, she said that she already knew about Aaron, but admitted that she didn't know about the affair, or that he stayed in touch with Dahlia, or even that he had spoken to Aaron on the phone. Yeah, my parents knew for months without telling me, leaving me to find out through ancestry.com. After I started giving my mom more information, she yelled at me too and said that this has nothing to do with me and she doesn't need to talk to about it. She wants nothing to do with Erin at all and seems to view her as trying to take her family away, only calling her that woman throughout our conversation. And she doesn't want to talk to anyone about it, including my dad. The only thing she confirmed was that she did remember my dad trying to name me those names, but then said she is going to support him through this and ended the call. She has since texted me acting like nothing happened. I don't know what I want from posting this, but I feel like I'm going crazy. My parents have always had a habit of denying events happened and have often claimed they didn't remember abusive things they did to me. But this is on another level. Basically, neither of them will own up to making any mistakes and will not acknowledge that there is anything weird about finding out I have a half-sister as an adult. They are angry with me for asking questions. AITA for telling my oldest daughter, 21 female, that she needs to stop taking her frustration at my lackluster performance as a father on her sister. 4F. I, 37, have 2 daughters and a son. I had my oldest daughter, 21F, when I was around 17, her brother at 20, and then my youngest 4 years ago with my wife. I was not a great father up until I got custody of my son when he was 3. I was not in my daughter's life consistently until she was around 10 when I moved to be closer to her. When she was 12, her mother passed, and she moved in with me and my son. When my daughter was about 15, I married my current wife and we had a baby a year later. I wanted this to be different, and it is. I am giving my second daughter the father my first didn't have. As a result, there has been some tension from my oldest. She frequently gets upset seeing me be a parent to my youngest as she didn't get that. She also frequently is mean to my youngest. My youngest loves her big sister with all of her heart, and my oldest is incredibly cold to her and always has been. Before my oldest went off to college, I tried to foster a good relationship between the two. I made sure to not make my oldest a default babysitter, but encouraged her to spend time with her. This tension boiled over 2 nights ago when she was visiting and we got into an argument. I was playing with my youngest and my oldest went on about how lucky she is that she gets to have this time with me since she never did. I don't like to have these discussions in front of my youngest. She may be 4, but she's old enough to know when there's tension, even if she doesn't fully understand why. She kept pushing and escalating the pressure until she snapped. She went off about how unfair it is that I'm there for her while I wasn't for her. She said my youngest will never have to struggle like she and her mom did, and it's not right that she gets a dad. I told her she was right to be upset with me. I was not there for her like she needed, and I will forever. There is no justification for what I did other than the fact that I was young and immature. I told her that there is not an amount of words or times that I can tell her that I'm sorry enough to undo the damage I've done, and that I will never forgive myself for not giving her what she needed while she was a kid. However, I told her that she needs to stop blaming her sister for this. None of this was her fault, and she doesn't know anything right now, and this is not something she should have to think about until she's older. Things escalated into a crying, yelling fit where she said I was invalidating her feelings. I tried to comfort her, but she was not having any of it and stormed to bed telling me she'd be gone in the morning. I do feel awful, of course. However, I don't think I was wrong to say what I said. There's a time and place for that, and it wasn't in our living room while I'm playing with her sister. I also feel that I was right to say she should not blame her little sister for my shitty actions.